Spider-Man Homecoming is now the third reboot. And is about Peter Parker trying to prove himself to Tony Stark so he can have a bigger part with the Avengers, you know, doing all their missions and stuff. And while all this stuff is happening, he also has to balance his high school life. Now, the first thing that I really liked and appreciated about this movie is the writers and directors respected the audience by not showing us the origin story of Spider-Man getting bitten, because we've had that twice already. Now, the next thing I want to mention is something I mentioned when I talked about the top 10 anticipated films of this year, which was Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man in Civil War. I really liked it. I think it worked really well. I thought it was a perfect blend of Tobey Maguire's awkward Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield's humorous Spider-Man, and also brings in his own style as he's a more younger version of a Peter Parker. Peter Parker's best friend Ned, played by Jacob Batalon, is also a great character as well, as he's really got a good knack for comedic timing. There's just these really great scenes where he asks Peter Parker questions, you know, about being Spider-Man and such. And I could picture myself, if I was in that universe, asking Peter Parker these questions. Now, one big problem in the Wonder Woman film is it didn't really have a very interesting villain, but that was definitely not the case in this film, because the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, was a really cool villain. And you can kind of relate and understand where this character's coming from. He's not just this big villain that just wants to destroy the world. Now, I'll lastly say, some of the best scenes from him aren't even action scenes. They're these dialogue scenes, and that really impressed me. One thing that you'll notice in the trailers is Tony Stark seems to be a really big part, or Iron Man seems to be a really big part in this movie, but to be honest, he's not really in it that much, and it never ever feels like Iron Man 4. But then on the flip side, it wasn't like he was barely in the movie, like he was just a cameo. He was there. Basically what I'm trying to say is he wasn't just there for no reason. He was always there for a reason, for the plot, and it always made sense. It was also really cool to see Happy once again in a Marvel film, because he hasn't been in there for a while, and some of the dialogue scenes with Peter Parker and Happy were quite funny. Now, moving on to the action scenes in this movie, in which they were just really entertaining as well. Although I did notice a couple moments in this movie the CGI was a little bit but it wasn't horrible or anything like that. Maybe it would have been better in 3D. I did not see this in 3D, so maybe it looked better. One thing I also liked from this film is the stakes never really feel world-ending. It's not this ridiculous thing that if he fails, the whole world's doomed. It's nothing like that. It's more of just, you know, just his family and stuff, and it's just his neighborhood, his city, that he's basically protecting from this Vulture and stuff. It kind of works in favor for this movie, and the problem sometimes with doing world-ending scenarios is it gets kind of boring. It's just the same crap. It's just a heap of destruction and devastation, but this one is done a little bit different, and I kind of like that. So all in all, even though this is the third remake to the Spider-Man movies, this was really good, really enjoyable. It definitely exceeded my expectations, and definitely better than all the Amazing Spider-Man ones. I don't know if I'd say it's as good as 1 or 2, the first original one with Tobey Maguire. Not sure about that, definitely better than the third one. So these are the best things I found with Spider-Man Homecoming. If you enjoyed this film or have any other good things to say, put them down in the comments below, or maybe even bad things, or you didn't like the film, say that as well. And if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting this button here or the subscribe button down below, and I'll catch you folks in the next one.